Hey guys, Ryan Dement from Chasing Financial Freedom podcast. Hope you guys are having a great day. Today on the podcast, we have Philip Blackett, and I like his title, The Special Package. And I'm going to leave it at that because I think there's a lot we can go into. So, Philip, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Happy to be here with you.
You're more than welcome. I know it's a little bit of a wait, so thank you for waiting and coming on the show. Before we get into what you're doing, can you tell the listeners a little about who you are?
Yeah, I'll try to be as brief as I can because I'm coming up to 40 years of life now. So trying to say who I am in like a minute or two is pretty daunting, Ryan. It's a pretty big question. So yeah, long story short, so my name is Philip, born and raised in the South, Memphis, Tennessee. Went to school in North Carolina, worked on Wall Street a little bit, corporate America a little bit, done some entrepreneur things a little bit. Get the gist a little bit. But in any case, outside of that, I'm an entrepreneur and author. More importantly, I'm a husband and a father. And yeah, the special package was actually a nickname that my grandmother gave me. And so basically sharing that she believed that God had gave all the right abilities and gifts in one person with me. And she just said it was all wrapped up in one special bow, hence the term special package she gave me. But yeah, all in all, excited to be here with you.
Awesome. So, tell me a little bit about what you're doing because it sounds like you're doing a lot. So you're an entrepreneur and an author. So what type of entrepreneur are you?
Yeah, so more so e-commerce, I would say, Ryan. There's a couple of e-commerce stores I'm building in particular. One that focuses on health as well for people. So, as I mentioned before, I turn 40 literally in about a month from now. And for a lot of people, like reaching the age of 40 often brings up the reflection of what has my life been like up to this point? And either it could be one of excitement or one of worry and anxiety, hence prompting a midlife crisis for some people. But I assure you, Ryan, I will not be shaving my head bald or getting a motorcycle. But nevertheless, the thought that comes to my mind is if I truly think of this as a midlife or a midpoint for me at 40, let's say, okay, I'm not the best at math, but that means the second half leads me to 80. And so the goal that comes to my mind is okay, if that's the case, what do I have to do to help my chances of reaching 80? Because I realize not everyone reaches 80. My grandparents didn't reach 80. I had a high school classmate of mine pass away a few days ago before I
Mm.
turned 40, and he was around 40 years old too. So it's not guaranteed. So one of the things that came off to my mind was what's something that can be helpful for people to help their chances get to that milestone of 80, or maybe it's their 50th wedding anniversary, or maybe it's seeing their kids graduate from not just high school but college, or see them get married, or have grandkids. So health became a big part of it for me and wellness. But more importantly, really the focus is on what I would say is the concept of home spas. If you think about a day spa that people would go to, they usually treat themselves out nice. Hey,
Mhm.
it's like a nice anniversary gift for your loved one, or hey, like things are really stressed out at work. I just need just a time off. Oh, let's have a spa day. And it's nice for that one point in time, but then you get right back in the swing of things. The real world hits. The kids call you, that sort of thing. So the concept is, what if we're able to help bring the day spa into the home so you can
Mm.
actually recover on a daily or weekly basis, not just a once every year sort of thing, but be able to do that from the convenience and privacy and comfort of your own home. And so that's one major thing that we're focusing on, being able to do that to help Americans live longer and enjoy life more through their own home spas. So I think that's a big part of when it comes to entrepreneurship. When I'm focused on tying it in with financial freedom, is the sense of, hey, what's the point of having financial freedom, Ryan, if you don't have your health and wellness to enjoy it?
You've gotta have that excuse me, your health and wellness. Otherwise, you can't go anywhere. People, God, I was reading an article somewhere and I can't remember where, but they were talking about younger generation. You're 40. I just turned 50 this year. So I got a couple years on you with this gray on my chin and on my head. They're talking about this younger generation that's trying to climb the corporate ladder and they're never satisfied. They hit one level and then boom, they're not happy. Boom, they go again and they're still not happy. And it's all around money and they're not taking care of themselves. Their mindset is pretty much trash. They're depressed and they wonder why they don't have fulfillment. And it's the number one thing is you got to take care of yourself. You got to fill your tank back up every single day or every week, however you want to look at it. Otherwise, how are you going to be any type of service to anybody else?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people in this younger generation tends to marvel after the word sustainability. And
Mhm.
most times when people talk about sustainability, they're talking about primarily the environment. How do we leave the world a better place for our kids and our grandkids? But what sustainability is, that keyword sustain. How do you sustain yourself when you're going about these career goals of yours to make it to the next job title, the next promotion, the next pay grade? Oftentimes you see it, and I've been in that case too. I used to work on Wall Street, so I understand beyond 9 to 5, it's like more like 9 to 9, 12 hours you're working on in, and you're just saying to yourself, hey, I just got to get through it. I just got to buckle up, drink my energy drink. I'll miss the gym today. I just can't do it. Maybe next day, maybe next week. And you just focus on what you think is most important. But the problem is the job in this instance will take of you whatever you give of it. And they'll often demand more. But they're not necessarily going to be your biggest advocate to say, hey, Philip, hey, Ryan, you've been through a lot here. Why don't you
Yeah.
take some time to get yourself in a better place, relax a little bit, recover, do some exercise, do some sort of thing with your diet that can help you do this for the long term. So this is not just a battle of attrition, but this is more so a sense of saying, hey, like Ryan has the tools and the ingredients needed to
Mhm.
go on this arms race, so to speak, and outlast your competition versus those that burn themselves out or completely take themselves out of the job altogether.
And I was in corporate America before I did running businesses, entrepreneurship, and so forth. And working 7 days a week is 1, not healthy, and 2, really takes its toll on you, and you've really gotta find a way to get away from that and be able to focus on being able to be effective with your time, and whether you I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I feel the most valuable asset I have is time because I
Mhm,
can't get it back once it's gone. People think money is, but the thing is you can earn more money, you can lose more money, you can earn it right back. Time is gone. So it's if you're spending all your time, let's say I'm a young father and I'm working on Wall Street and I'm working 9 to 9.
mhm.
How is that going to be beneficial for my wife and my kid and myself? It's a horrible experience, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ryan. I think the thing is, so I have twin daughters. They're 7 years
Wow.
old. As much as I would like to, Ryan, despite the diapers and the blowouts and stuff like that, I really enjoyed the time that my kids were at when they were 1 or 2 years old. But here's the bottom line, though. Here's the hard truth. No matter how much I wish it, no matter how much I'd be willing to pay for it, I can't get that time back.
No.
Once my girls turn 3, they never go back to being 2.
Yep.
Once it becomes 7, they never go back to being 6. So to your point, even just looking at it from a parenting standpoint, once your kids are out of the house and they graduated, you can't beg them to come back and
Yep.
go back to middle school or high school. Those years are gone. So what that means is that when you are hustling and you are going about this, I just got to make it work. I got to get this promotion. I got to get this job title. I got to get this presentation going. I got to please my boss by whatever means necessary. Okay, there's a trade-off though, because the
Mhm.
time that you're spending with your work, you can't do 2 things at the same time. As much as we like to think we can multitask, you can't provide quality time with your spouse and your kids at the same time of being present on a conference call at work. Something has to give.
It does. And I too, back in the day when I was in corporate America, I chased the next promotion, I chased the next position, whatever the case was. But I learned in a short period of time, the more I was grateful for the items I had each day and for the things that, and I say things, life, my health, my well being, my family, those things, having a roof over my head, bills paid, food in my stomach, that That seemed to really help and energize myself to be focused more on, okay, what can I do for others to help them along and get them to be able to be promoted or move up the ranks, however you want to look at that. But until my mindset changed, I struggled. I was always chasing that almighty dollar and it never got any better.
Here's the thing, Ryan. Dollar, whether it's $1, $20, $50, or $100 or more, it's paper. It's inanimate. It has no heart, no soul, no mind to it, right? But yet and still so many people essentially gauge who they are based on how much of that dollar they have,
Mhm.
or they're willing to put themselves through stress and anxiety and even harm's way just trying to get more of it. And at the end of the day, if you're not doing well, if you're in the hospital somewhere recovering because you didn't take the time to take care of yourself in the meantime, or you're on your bed just, dude, I wish I could have more time with my spouse or more time with my kids, and it's too late now. You can't look at Benjamin Franklin and commiserate with him as far as your therapist to say, hey, what could I have done better? It's just going to look blankly at you and say, and ultimately you have to face the music on that one. So yeah, it's very telling. I think it'd be helpful for more of our young people to understand what's really important earlier in the age in their careers.
Mhm.
Because at some point in time, I think you and me are witnesses to this at 40 and 50, respectively. At some point, you learn as you age, certain things you didn't think was as important back then is more
Yes.
important now.
Yes. Another thing I saw probably several weeks back is a young kid that was working on the farm with his family, which his family's been second or third generation. I think he's maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10 at the max, I don't know. But the work ethic that he had was impeccable. It's like working, going to school, making sure he's doing that. But the thing that really caught my eye was he was able to balance it out. They're Christians, they went to church on Sunday, so Monday through Saturday, he did whatever work he could do that by law, but also going to school, blah, blah, blah. But Sunday, they took the time to connect with the family, go to church, eat dinner, lunch, whatever they do around the dinner table or around the table, and really just disconnect and be able to recharge his batteries. Maybe I'm missing it, but I don't see a lot of that out there today. Am I wrong?
Listen, Ryan, the creator had it right the first time around. He worked on creating this world of ours in 6 days and
Mhm.
then rested on the seventh.
Yep.
The creator.
Yes.
Yet and still, the creation, us human beings, many of us wants to think that's probably not the way I want to follow. That's probably not. I think I have a better way. And oftentimes, the better way they think of is I'm just going to work 7 days straight.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna go 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 16 hours a day. Oh, and sleep? I'll sleep when I die. Once again, this gets back to how do you sustain that? And so the thought is that even in that example you bring up to Ryan, you still work 6 days and you rest on the seventh. 6 out of 7, that's a pretty good proportion dedicated to work. But
Correct.
but rest was important enough that the 7 day was dedicated just for rest.
And I know I struggled with this in my career when I was in corporate America and as an entrepreneur. And until I realized that all I was doing a disservice to myself and to my family is when I said, okay, I need to one, pull back. I can't do this on my own. Whether people listening, guys, I bring it up, whether you're faith based or not, as you said, Philip, the creator, God, made it and made this earth that we're on or the universe, however you want to look at it, in 6 days. And we're trying to push against all of that history when if you just step back and say, okay, what do I need to do to one, reconnect, but two, to rest? I don't know about you, but when first started doing it, I saw a huge difference in my outlook on life, positivity, my mind, because I was pretty, I don't want to say depressed, but I was pretty melancholy when I would go to work on Monday. I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Sunday's already over and I'm back to work already." And I would sit at home with my laptop open working 7 days a week and just never stopped. And it just makes no sense. Why do you wanna put yourself in the ground, kill yourself for something that you can't control most of the time when you can actually be better with time management and be more effective with it over a shorter period of time to give yourself some time back to relax and some sanity.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a real thing, Ryan. Like, I remember even being in school, right? Sunday afternoon, for some reason, like right around 5 or 6 o'clock, something in my body would just start to change. It
Yeah.
start to get more stress as I'm eating dinner, more anxious. It's not because my favorite football team is losing on the big screen, right? It's more so the thought of, oh, shoot, I got class tomorrow. I got school tomorrow. Or for other people, I got to go back to work tomorrow.
Yes.
So oftentimes, not only if it's not Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, it's Monday morning where you tend to have more issues of accidents on the road, heart attacks, anxiety, panic attacks, and that sort of thing happening at the start of a week, much more so than at the end of the week. There's a reason why they say, thank God it's Friday for a reason. We have this sense of wanting to escape the stress that we have, which seems like something we just have to deal with, which is work, which often begs the question, is this something we need to be doing though? Because if
Yep.
it's adding so much stress here and the only reason why you're doing it is necessarily for a paycheck, while we live in a different time now than 40, 50 years ago, that you may have more options on how you go about providing for your means that might be different from how you're currently doing it. Because yeah, you may get a paycheck at the end of the week or 2 weeks or a month, but at what cost?
Yeah. I know we've gone off topic, but can we go back to your home health system or your home spa system?
Sure.
Talk a little bit about that and what that looks like.
Yeah, so basically, the e-commerce brand we're building is called Home Spa Essentials. And what essentially is thinking this just this concept of listen, if so many people have this loving memory of like when they go to a spa and they relax and they can just disconnect from life altogether, just like you talked about with the boy on Sunday, you just
Yeah.
disconnect and you just rest and you recover. It's really building on this concept that wouldn't it be better for you to have that ability to rest and recover, one, much more often than once a month or on
Yeah.
your birthday or anniversary? Two, be able to do it not in front of people you don't know that are putting their
Yeah.
hands on you and sanitizing this and that, and you've never been here before, but now you're in a towel. That sort you're supposed to relax and you're all of a sudden all like body conscious. How am I gonna look in that sort of front of a stranger? But be able to do that as far as something that helps you out, helps you recover and rest primarily from the comfort, convenience, and privacy of your home. And so really taking that idea, that big picture idea and thinking of so how do you make that happen? It's really looking at it from the standpoint of what are common things that people like to do in a spa like environment to help them relax and be able to share that with people in a way of saying, hey, your health is worth investing in, Ryan.
Mhm.
Where if you want to feel relaxed after a long day at work, instead of thinking about, oh, I wish I could afford a masseuse or I wish I could afford to go to a spa on a weekly basis, making the investment, for example, of getting like a high end premium massage chair that you can have in your living room or you could have in your favorite place at home that you don't have to call to make an appointment. You don't have to wonder if you have enough on the charge card to afford the massage treatment. You don't have to worry if Dorothy is available and whether or not her hands are sanitized or not to do the massage, right? Or are you comfortable massaging my feet today versus my back versus my neck? But just thinking about it in a sense like being able to, in this example, watch your favorite football. I used to think of it as when I was growing up. I would get my grandfather, my family, we thought we were doing a great thing by getting my grandfather a reclining chair. That was like the big thing, right? It was a chair that reclined so you felt like you were like more relaxed, your feet is up. You feel
Mhm,
more comfortable watching the game. Now, 40, 50 years later, technology has it in the point where in this example, wouldn't it be nice to get in your favorite massage chair and watch that same football game and program a 30-minute, 45-minute, hour massage program on that chair, for example.
mhm.
And as you're watching your game, or you're talking to your spouse, or you're on the phone with friends, you actually feel like you're in the spa, but you're at home. So it's the thought of just certain elements or essentials, we call them, that people love to have in spas and say, hey, how do we include that in your home?
Yeah,
Because if anything else, if you have it in your home, you're much more likely to use it. And it would be great to use after a long day's work or after a grueling workout or even aggressive playtime with your kids or grandkids. Like that's the sort of thing where it's just like little by little, just something as simple as that. And not just having it in your house, but make it a commitment to use it on a regular basis because you recognize that it can help you not just now when you have the aches and pains, when you wake up and you got the lower back pain, and by the time you stretch, 40 bones cracked all at unison. But it's more so the sense to say, hey, when we talked about this earlier, right? Okay, 40 seen as the midpoint, you want to reach the 80. Now is a good time to start planning. If I want to reach that goal of 80, of my 50th wedding anniversary with my wife, of walking my kids down the aisle at the wedding and being able to actually stand up right for the first dance with my daughter, you got to start putting these things in place now as far as how you plan for it. And oftentimes, when we look at the spa as like the relaxation oasis,
mhm.
that I only wish I could aspire to afford, but I only could do it on my birthday. Now it's just trying to take that concept and say, "Hey, what if there's a way we can actually put it in your home? What if there's a way we can actually have it in a place where it's convenient for you to use on a daily or weekly basis?" Because the thought is if you use it on a daily, weekly basis, you're probably gonna feel better than you currently do right now. You're probably gonna recover from work when it's really stressful a lot better than you do right now.
So what type of investment would it be if they bought one of those chairs?
So it depends. So for us, we offer a variety of massage chairs, for example, but outside of massage chairs, we're looking into things as far as like cold plunge tubs.
Mm,
We're looking at saunas, different types of saunas. Red light therapy is like the new trend that's coming up nowadays too. So different types when it comes to like hydrotherapy or muscle recovery and that sort. Um, but when it comes to investment, it typically ranges depending on what you're looking at, anywhere from a couple $1,000s up to 5 figures. It just really depends on what's right for you. What are you looking for? But also you're thinking about it in the sense as not only as an investment in your own health and wellness, but also could be shared among your family. So like your spouse could take partake in this, maybe your older kids, maybe you got relatives visiting in, they can partake in this too. But also the emphasis of home. Oftentimes, what is the one place that we feel most comfortable at?
home.
Home. What is the place that's oftentimes the biggest investment we make when it comes to financial freedom that we aspire to make? The
Yes.
home. And
Yeah.
so when it all said and done, what is probably the best place to invest in, not just in our home, but also in ourselves for the long term?
Yeah.
Our home.
Agree.
So
Yeah.
that's the sort of thing you look at from that frame of mind. Um, you love being at home. You love spending the time with the people you love. You want to be around for the long term. These are some investments for yourself that not only can make you better at work because you're more relaxed and you're more at ease, and you can better do the job as you hustle for the next promotion and the next pay grade and the next presentation. But more importantly, like we said before, Ryan, it helps you better sustain yourself for the
Mhm.
long term.
How long's the business been around?
So we just premiered this year. So basically, once we figure out this new concept that many people aren't really talking about at all, we said, hey, how can we actually put this together? And so, yeah, we launched it earlier this year.
Cool. What's the name of the company? You didn't tell us that.
Yeah, so the store is called Home Spa Essentials, and its website is homespaessentials.com.
Cool. So right now, what are you guys selling on the site? Is it just the chairs or is there other items that you guys are selling?
Yeah, so if you go on there now, we're adding new products each week. So we have massage chairs, we have saunas, like traditional saunas, like the
Mhm.
steam, you put the little water
Yeah,
on the rocks, the steam.
it's
You got
cool.
infrared saunas there, barrel saunas. So you got like actual like beer barrel looking saunas we put outside. More of an aesthetic look, but still gets the job done. Let's see. That we have cold plunge tubs there too. So if you're thinking about it from like a what they call like a contrast therapy, like if you're using water, both hot water and cold water to help
Mhm.
ease like the muscles and help you feel better. We got steam showers, we got jetted tubs. And as I mentioned before, we're adding new products each week.
That's cool. And then, so if people want to, I guess I'm going to have to ask a question. That's a pretty large chair to ship. So you guys can actually ship nationwide?
Yep.
Awesome.
We focus on continental US. We can do Hawaii, Alaska, it just adds a little bit for us, and we'll ask the customer to help us out on that. But yes, continental USA, we definitely can help there.
Okay. And repeat your website again because I want to make sure we get it in the show notes too.
Sure. So it's www.homespaessentials.
Awesome. Sir, it's been great speaking with you. And what you're doing is, one is it's a necessity, but two, bring it in the house. I have to ask before we wrap up. How many competitors do you have? There's not too many people out there that are doing this, are there? Is there?
I don't think so. And the reason why, Ryan, I don't say that to be like, look at me. I say that more so since here's the concept though. Massage chairs existed beyond me being here. There were
Mhm.
saunas,
Yep.
not only in America, but in, like, in Finland and other
Yeah.
countries in the sort, right? Showers, right? She's like, That's been around for a while." The difference, though, is essentially looking at it in the sense of basically cultivating your own home spa, right?
Mhm.
It's almost when you look at McDonald's and they had hamburgers, they had french fries, they had drinks. It was only until somebody came around and said, "Hey, would it make sense to combine 2 or 3 of these items and make a meal out of it?" And they just say, "Hey, give me the hamburger, fries, and shake for this price." And what we're saying here is, "Hey, can we take some of these elements, these essentials that people often buy separately just for a specific purpose and say, hey, don't do it just for that sake of that one item.
Yep.
Add 2 or 3 of these things together, put in your own special room, your man cave, your basement, your living room, wherever the case may be, and essentially have that as your particular home spa. That's different. That's something I haven't seen, and that gets me excited to really spread the word about that to help more people live longer and enjoy life more by having their own home spas.
That's awesome. Sir, thank you for coming on, and happy early 40th birthday. I hope you have a great birthday, but better yet, everything works out for you and you guys are kicking butt and taking names on this business because you guys are doing things that other people are not looking at and trying to help others. But the biggest thing is health. We talked about it, and health is something we can get more of. It's just like time. It's a valuable asset. So thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the opportunity, Ryan.